It was a bright Monday morning when a white delivery truck stopped in front of the tall glass building of Hamilton Industries. The guards barely looked at the driver as he stepped out, a tall, quiet black man wearing a simple uniform and a cap pulled low over his eyes. His name was Marcus Hill. To most people, he was just another delivery man. Inside the building, the lobby buzzed with noise, phones ringing, shoes clicking, people talking. When Marcus entered carrying 2 big boxes, the receptionist, Chloe, gave him a quick look and sighed. "Put it near the counter," she said coldly, "and don't scratch the floor." Marcus nodded politely. He didn't reply. He carefully placed the boxes down, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and smiled softly. But Chloe had already turned away, laughing with another worker. Across the hall, 3 employees stood near the coffee machine watching Marcus. One of them, Daniel, smirked. "Look at that guy," he whispered. "Probably didn't even finish high school." They laughed quietly, trying not to be heard, but Marcus noticed. He didn't show it. His calm eyes looked around the fancy office, marble floors, shiny desks, expensive art on the walls. It was clear these people thought they were better than him. As Marcus waited for his signature, another worker named Ben walked by and said sarcastically, "Hey man, do you ever get tired of lifting other people's stuff?" Marcus smiled politely. "Someone has to do it," he replied softly. Ben rolled his eyes. "Yeah, well, don't quit your day job." Everyone laughed again, and Marcus just nodded. He took the signed paper, thanked Chloe, and left quietly. But as he pushed the glass door open, he glanced back once. His eyes were thoughtful, not angry, just patient. It's like someone who knew something they didn't. Outside, the wind blew softly as Marcus loaded his truck. A young intern named Lisa stood near the entrance holding some files. She had seen the whole thing. "That wasn't fair," she said, her voice low. Marcus smiled at her gently. "People see what they want to see, miss. Someday they'll see more." He tipped his cap and drove away. Lisa frowned, confused. His truck was clean, newer than most delivery vehicles. The logo on the side was faded H&H Logistics. She had never heard of it, but something about Marcus felt different. Later that day, inside the office, Daniel was bragging loudly about his upcoming promotion. "Someday I'll run this place," he said, leaning back in his chair. "Yeah, right," Ben joked. "Unless the company gets sold first." Everyone laughed again. But that night, the laughter would stop. In a small apartment across town, Marcus sat at a desk, flipping through documents. On the top page was the same company name, Hamilton Industries Acquisition Agreement. He smiled quietly. His phone buzzed. A voice on the line said, "Mr. Hill, the deal is finalized. As of tomorrow morning, you officially own Hamilton Industries." Marcus exhaled slowly, his eyes glimmering with satisfaction. Years of hard work, patience, and quiet planning had finally paid off. He stood up, walked to a small photo frame on the wall. It showed him years ago wearing a suit, shaking hands with a man in front of the same building. Under the photo were 3 words written in bold letters: "Dream big, stay humble." The next morning, Hamilton Industries buzzed with rumors. The company had a new owner, but no one knew who. Chloe was gossiping with Ben at the front desk when the glass doors opened again. The same white delivery truck stopped outside. Marcus stepped out, calm, confident, with a faint smile. He walked in, carrying nothing this time. Everyone stared, back again. Ben said mockingly. Marcus looked around the lobby, then at them, and said gently, "Yes, I'm here to see my office." The laughter stopped. The story had just begun. The next morning began like any other at Hamilton Industries. Employees hurried in with coffee cups, chatting about the mysterious rumor and new owners taking over today. But no one knew who it was. Some said it was an investor from New York. Others whispered it was a foreign millionaire. No one even imagined the truth. At exactly 9 o'clock, the glass doors opened, and Marcus Hill walked in again. But this time, he wasn't carrying any boxes. He wore a dark blue suit, crisp and sharp, with a silver watch shining on his wrist. His calm walk drew attention. The same receptionist, Chloe, looked up from her desk and frowned. "Delivery entrance is at the back," she said automatically. Marcus smiled politely. "I'm not here for a delivery today." Ben, who was walking by, smirked. "Oh, switching jobs already? Cleaning department, maybe?" A few people laughed. Marcus ignored them. He walked toward the elevator, every step steady, confident. The security guard at the door, Mr. Davis, watched carefully. He had always treated Marcus with respect, greeting him every time he came. "Morning, Mr. Hill," the guard said softly. Marcus nodded. "Morning, Davis. Hope you and your son are doing better." The old guard smiled in surprise. How did this man remember his family? Chloe called out, annoyed. "Sir, you can't just go upstairs without permission." Marcus turned slightly, his calm voice firm now. "Don't worry, Miss Chloe, I have all the permission I need." He stepped into the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. The doors closed before anyone could say another word. The office buzzed with confusion. "What is he doing up there?" Someone whispered. Lisa, the intern, looked uneasy. She remembered his words yesterday. Someday they'll see more. Upstairs, the conference room was ready for the new owner's arrival. The company's executives, Daniel among them, sat around the table, straightening their ties. The CEO, Mr. Hamilton, was leaving after selling the company, and this was his last meeting. He stood up as the door opened, to everyone's shock. Marcus Hill walked in. Silence fell like a storm. Daniel blinked, confused. Excuse me, sir. Deliveries are supposed to go to Mr. Hamilton raised his hand. No, Daniel. That's not a delivery man. He turned to Marcus and smiled respectfully. Gentlemen, meet your new owner, Mr. Marcus Hill. No one spoke. Daniel's mouth opened, but no words came out. Chloe's voice from the speakerphone downstairs stuttered. Wait, what did he just say? Marcus nodded politely to Mr. Hamilton, then looked around the room. Good morning, everyone, he said calmly. I believe we've met before, though some of you may not remember me kindly. The silence deepened. He placed a folder on the table. For years, I've watched this company from the outside, how it treated people, how it ignored the value of hard work and respect. I built my own company from nothing, and now I'm here not to punish anyone, but to rebuild this place with dignity. Daniel swallowed hard. You tricked us. Marcus looked at him evenly. No, Daniel. I didn't trick you. I just didn't need to prove my worth to people who only see uniforms and skin color. Mr. Hamilton shook Marcus's hand and said, I'm proud to leave this company in your hands. Then he quietly left, leaving Marcus standing tall at the head of the table. Marcus looked around at the executives. Some of you will stay, some will not. But from today, everyone here will be treated with respect, from the janitor to the boardroom.
Downstairs.
Chloe and Ben were pale as they watched Marcus's name appear on the digital office board. CEO Marcus Hill. Asa smiled softly. She whispered, he warned us, people see what they want to see. That evening, as Marcus left the building, the same truck waited outside. But this time, he didn't drive it, a chauffeur did. He looked up at the glass tower glowing in the sunset and whispered, I delivered more than boxes. I delivered change. The next day, everyone would learn that the delivery man they mocked was now their boss. The morning after Marcus took charge, the entire building felt different. Everyone came early, whispering about the unbelievable truth. The delivery man was now the owner. Some people were nervous, others embarrassed, and a few still angry. The laughter that once filled the halls was gone, replaced by quiet curiosity and fear. Marcus arrived at exactly 8 o'clock. He didn't come with a big show or expensive car. He walked in the same calm way, greeted the guards, and even helped a cleaner pick up some fallen papers. The same people who used to ignore him now stood aside. Watching with uncertain faces in the conference room, the senior staff waited. Their eyes followed Marcus as he entered with a tablet in hand. Good morning, everyone, he said simply. Let's start. Daniel tried to speak, forcing a smile. Mr. Hill, welcome. It's an honor to work under you now. Marcus nodded slightly. Thank you, Daniel. I hope your words match your actions this time. The meeting began with Marcus asking each department head to explain what they actually did for the company. Some spoke confidently, others stumbled. He listened quietly, writing notes. When it was Ben's turn, he avoided eye contact. "Sir, I handle logistics and supplies," he said nervously. Marcus looked at him for a long moment and then replied softly, "That's funny. I remember you mocking a delivery man yesterday. I hope you'll take logistics more seriously from now on." The room went silent. Ben's face turned red. Marcus didn't raise his voice, but his calm tone carried more weight than any shout could. After the meeting, Marcus asked Lisa, the young intern, to join him in his office. She entered nervously, unsure why she had been called. "You stood up for me, didn't you?" he asked gently. Lisa looked surprised. "I just said it wasn't fair how they treated you." Marcus smiled. "That's what leadership looks like. From today, you'll assist me directly. I need someone honest beside me." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Me? But I'm just an intern." He nodded. "For now, let's see where courage can take you." Later that day, Marcus walked through the different departments. He talked to janitors, guards, and cafeteria workers, the people no one noticed. He asked about their work, their problems, and their families. Most of them had never even seen a boss speak to them before. When Marcus reached the HR section, he noticed an older woman cleaning the floor. Her hands trembled, but she kept working silently. He knelt slightly and asked, "How long have you worked here?" She hesitated. 12 years, sir. How many times has someone thanked you?" Her eyes filled with tears. "No one ever has, sir." Marcus smiled kindly. "Then allow me to be the first." "Thank you." The next morning, a notice was posted in every hallway. Every employee, no matter their position, deserves respect. Marcus Hill, CEO, but not everyone liked the change. Daniel, furious and humiliated, met secretly with a few others in the break room. "He's turning this place upside down," Daniel whispered. "We can't let some ex-delivery man run things like this." "We built this company," Ben added quietly. "What can we do?" "He owns everything." Daniel's eyes hardened. "Ownership can change. I know people who'd love to see him fall." Meanwhile, Marcus sat in his office, unaware of the plan forming against him. He looked out at the city's skyline and thought about his journey. From being laughed at to leading the same people who mocked him, he opened his father's old notebook and read a line written years ago: "Respect cannot be demanded. It must be earned, one act of kindness at a time." Marcus smiled softly. "Then I'll keep earning it," he whispered. But outside his door, enemies were already plotting to take it all away. 2 weeks had passed since Marcus Hill became the new CEO of Hamilton Industries. The company was changing fast. Employees were smiling more, departments were working better, and people who were once ignored were now being heard. But deep beneath that new harmony, jealousy and pride were growing like poison. Daniel couldn't stand watching Marcus succeed. Every time Marcus walked through the office, people stood up and greeted him respectfully. The same workers who used to laugh at him now looked at him like a hero. Daniel's ego burned. He had always seen himself as the smartest man in the room until the delivery man proved him wrong. One evening, Daniel called Ben into the conference room. The office was quiet. Only the hum of air conditioners filled the silence. Ben hesitated. "Daniel, I don't think this is a good idea." Daniel leaned forward, his tone sharp. "Listen, you and I both know Marcus doesn't belong here. He may have bought this company, but he doesn't deserve it. We built this place, and I'm not going to take orders from someone who used to carry boxes." Ben looked nervous. "What do you plan to do?" Daniel smirked. "Simple. We make him look like a failure." The next day, small mistakes began to appear. Wrong delivery orders, misplaced contracts, delayed payments. Marcus stayed calm, fixing problems himself. But the chaos kept growing. In 1 week, a major shipment went missing, costing the company thousands of dollars. When Marcus asked the logistics team what happened, Ben looked down in shame. "Sir, the files were deleted somehow," he said quietly. Marcus didn't yell. "We'll find them," he replied. "Mistakes happen." Lisa, who now worked as Marcus's assistant, felt something wasn't right. She started checking email records, transaction logs, and security footage late at night. After hours of searching, she found something strange. Daniel's ID was used to access the restricted storage system the same night the shipment vanished. Her heart raced. She printed the logs and ran to Marcus's office the next morning. "Sir, you need to see this," she said breathlessly, placing the papers on his desk. Marcus read the details silently. His face didn't show anger, only disappointment. "So this is how far pride can fall," he murmured. Later that afternoon, Marcus called a company-wide meeting. The employees gathered in the main hall, curious and nervous. Daniel stood in the crowd, pretending to be calm, while Ben shifted uncomfortably beside him. Marcus stepped up to the podium. "This company was once built on ego and disrespect," he began. "But I wanted to build it on trust and teamwork. Unfortunately, someone has chosen deceit over progress." He paused, scanning the room. Last week's shipment loss wasn't an accident. Someone tried to sabotage this company, our company. A wave of whispers spread through the crowd. Marcus continued, "Our internal system recorded who accessed the files that night. And that person was?" He turned to look directly at Daniel. "Daniel Brooks." The hall went silent. Daniel's face turned pale. "That's a lie," he shouted. "You're framing me because you can't handle real business?" Marcus didn't respond with anger. He simply tapped a button on the screen behind him. The security footage appeared, Daniel entering the restricted server room at midnight. Gasps filled the hall. Ben lowered his head in shame. Marcus's voice stayed calm. "This company gave you a chance to change. You chose to destroy it instead. You're fired, effective immediately." Security approached Daniel. He struggled for words, but found none. As they let him out, he glared at Marcus. "You'll regret this," he hissed. Marcus turned away, his expression steady. "I already regret giving you my trust." After the meeting, Lisa stood beside Marcus. "You handled that with grace," she said softly. Marcus smiled faintly. Anger builds walls. Respect breaks them. But he knew Daniel wasn't done yet. Some battles didn't end with words, they began with them, and outside the company gates. Daniel was already making a call that could destroy everything Marcus had built. Daniel Brooks was gone from Hamilton Industries, but his anger stayed behind like a shadow. Losing his job wasn't what hurt him most. It was losing power to the same man he once mocked. He sat alone in his apartment that night, staring at a photo of the office building glowing under city lights. His jaw clenched as he muttered, "He thinks he's a hero. Let's see how long that lasts." He spent the next few days contacting every business rival Marcus ever had. He called old clients, suppliers, and even reporters, spreading lies. "Hamilton Industries is failing," he whispered over the phone. "The new owner doesn't know how to manage a company. Trust me, he's about to go bankrupt." At first, no one believed him. But Daniel was patient. He sent fake documents, altered invoices, and leaked false reports to make Marcus look dishonest. Within a week, rumors began to spread like wildfire. News articles appeared online with titles like "Former Delivery Man CEO Faces Financial Trouble." Inside the company, employees were nervous again. Investors started calling, asking if the news was true. Marcus stayed calm, but deep down, he knew something serious was happening. Lisa entered his office one morning with worry on her face. "Sir, the media is saying we're losing contracts. Some clients want to pull out." Marcus nodded slowly. "That's what fear does. It spreads faster than truth." "But what if they leave before we can prove it's false?" she asked. Marcus looked out the window, his voice steady. "Then we'll rebuild again, from the ground up if we must. But we will not lie to defend a lie." Still, the pressure grew heavier each day. Porters camped outside the building, shouting questions. "Mr. Hill, is it true you falsified profit reports? Did you use illegal funds to buy Hamilton Industries?" Marcus never lost his calm. "The truth doesn't shout," he told them. "It shows itself in time." That night, Lisa stayed late at the office, going through financial records. She found something strange again. Someone was sending copies of private documents to an unknown email address. When she traced it, Her heart froze. It belonged to Daniel Brooks. She printed the proof and rushed to Marcus's apartment. He opened the door, surprised. "Lisa, what are you doing here this late?" She handed him the papers. "Sir, Daniel's still attacking from outside. He's leaking private data." Marcus read through the files and sighed deeply. "I expected he might." He walked to his desk, opened a drawer, and took out an envelope. Inside were old photos, him and Daniel years ago at a business seminar. Back then, they had worked for the same company. "I gave him his first chance," Marcus said quietly. "But he chose pride over growth." Lisa frowned. "Then maybe it's time you show the world who he really is." Marcus shook his head. "If I fight hate with hate, I become no better than him." The next morning, instead of attacking back, Marcus called a press conference. The lobby was full of reporters and cameras. He stood on stage, calm and confident. "I've heard the rumors," he began. "Some say Hamilton Industries is falling. But let me remind you, this company was built by people who refuse to give up. We face prejudice, mockery, and doubt, and still we rise. We don't build success through gossip or lies, but through hard work and integrity." His speech went viral overnight. People admired his grace and honesty. Clients began calling again, saying they believed in his vision. Even employees who were unsure now felt proud, but Daniel watched the news from his dark apartment. His face twisted in frustration. "You think you've won?" he whispered. "I'm not done yet." He picked up his phone and made another call. "I want everything you have on Marcus Hill. His past, his finances, his secrets. I'll pay whatever it takes." Outside, thunder rumbled through the city. A storm was coming, and this time, Marcus's past was about to be dragged into the light. The storm Daniel started was now roaring across the city. News outlets buzzed with headlines about Marcus Hill's mysterious past. Who is the real Marcus Hill? One headline read, "From homeless boy to CEO or a lie," read another. The internet was on fire with speculation. Daniel had done his worst. I dug up Marcus's old history, that he grew up poor, lost his parents young, and had once lived in a shelter. He leaked every painful detail, hoping the world would turn against Marcus. At first, it seemed to work. Some investors hesitated, employees whispered again, and the same people who once praised Marcus now questioned him. "He lied to us," someone said in the hallway. "How can a man like that run a company like this?" Lisa stormed into Marcus's office, furious. "Sir, you can't stay quiet anymore. He's ruining your image." Marcus looked calm but tired. "Let him talk, Lisa. The truth isn't my enemy." "But the world doesn't see it that way," she said, her voice breaking. "They only see what's written in the headlines." Marcus looked out the window where the rain blurred the city lights. "Then maybe it's time I tell my story in my own words." That evening, Marcus announced a live broadcast. Reporters filled the room, expecting him to deny everything. But when Marcus walked in, wearing a simple black suit, he didn't look defensive. He looked free. He stepped up to the microphone and spoke with quiet strength. "You've heard many things about me," he began. "Some true, some twisted. But let me tell you who I really am." The room fell silent. "I was born with nothing," Marcus continued. "My mother cleaned houses. My father worked in a factory. When I was 10, a fire took everything. Our home, our money, even them. I grew up in a shelter, eating one meal a day. I worked odd jobs, washing dishes, carrying boxes, delivering packages, anything to survive." He paused and smiled faintly. "People laughed at me then too. I saw a poor boy and thought that was all I would ever be. But I believed that hard work could rewrite any story." His voice deepened with emotion. "So yes, I was poor. Yes, I was a delivery man. But that doesn't shame me, it shaped me. Every box I carried taught me humility. Every door slammed in my face taught me patience. And every insult I heard taught me strength." Lisa stood in the crowd, her eyes filled with pride. "Even some employees wiped their tears," Marcus continued. "When I walked into Hamilton Industries as a delivery man, I didn't go there to prove anyone wrong. I went there to remember where I came from, and to remind myself never to forget the people who work hard quietly every day." He looked straight into the cameras. "So to those who mock my past, I say thank you. You reminded me that my scars are proof that I've survived. And to those who believe in me, I promise, we'll build something greater together." The audience broke into applause. The moment was raw, powerful, and real. The next morning, the internet was filled with clips of Marcus's speech. The headlines had changed. From homeless boy to hero CEO, Marcus Hill inspires millions. Even his old rivals began to praise his honesty. Clients returned, investors called again, and Hamilton Industries regained its strength. Meanwhile, Daniel sat alone, watching the same news. His plan had failed completely. His lies had turned into Marcus's strength. He threw his phone across the room, shouting in frustration. He made them love him even more. A week later, Marcus received an envelope at his office. Inside was a short letter written in shaky handwriting. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I let hate blind me. Daniel Brooks." Marcus read it quietly, then smiled sadly. He placed the letter in his drawer beside the photo of his parents. "Forgiveness," he whispered, "is the final victory." That evening, Marcus walked through the lobby. The guards, the cleaners, the delivery staff, everyone greeted him warmly. He smiled at each one, remembering how far he had come. He stopped by the door and turned to Lisa. "You know," he said softly, "they mocked the delivery man once." She smiled back. "Yes, sir. But now, the world delivers his name with respect." And as Marcus stepped outside into the fading sunset, the world saw not a delivery man or a CEO, but a man who turned mockery into greatness and pain into purpose.